Welcome into MLS with Deke. I'm here with the one and only HarryTrades. Harry, thank you for joining me.
Of course, mate. Thank you for the invitation and like that intro, by the way. I'm sure AI had something to do with it. We
Oh,
were just chatting
all
about AI.
AI, baby. All AI.
Mate, that's swanky. Like the
I was
logos in there and everything. It's cool.
It's pretty cool, not gonna lie. With the
Yeah.
I love the Philadelphia Union Stadium, and like the bridge in the background is really cool. So like I wanted to incorporate that. You just tell them whatever, and then it does like this flyover. I was like, man, that's crazy.
Mate, honestly, that's really, really nice. I
Appreciate that.
yeah, I haven't played around with any intros yet, but yeah, man, I'm impressed with that. But yeah, thank you for having me on, mate, and yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah. So first off, appreciate you for coming on, number one, and number two, with you have a young child, so bedtime is a big deal. So I appreciate you scheduling around and moving around a little bit
No, of
for
course,
this.
man.
Yeah, and this one's sponsored by Happy Dad for you. So Happy Dad,
Nice.
forget what their slogan is. Like everyone loves a happy dad or something. So we got two happy
Yeah, everyone
dads
needs a
here,
happy dad.
and maybe some of the MLS action made us unhappy, but we're here and we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
We
Let's
are, yeah.
do it.
Yeah, we are going to talk about it. Yeah, it's been a mad day to be fair. Been a mad MLS week, other than not normally mad, but mad in maybe the negative context
Yeah.
um, for us, but well for me more so than anything. But it's not all about me; it's about the games themselves. But yeah, we had a nice start with Toronto 2-1. I thought,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know,
figured I'd start here because I believe you're the biggest Toronto supporter that I know.
I might be the one and only. I
The
think.
one and only, right? I mean,
Uh,
you've been hyping up Toronto as far as like Walker Zimmerman and guys like that, which came to play. Walker with the goal,
yeah,
um, the game winner from Mihalovic. What you said, the first corner Mihalovic took, got him on the board,
yeah.
which you love to
First,
see
I
that.
think he ended up taking two eventually, but yeah, it was the first one. Because Colio was taking them
Yeah.
even after Mihailovic was on the pitch, which was kind of crazy for a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Cuejo is just, I think he took almost double digits from what I saw. I think
he was
something crazy like
busy.
that.
Yeah,
But they're playing possum, so Abu Ali scored right out of the gate from across from Arston, and it looked like it was going to be another Toronto match where it wasn't good. Mihalovic was sick, so he was off the bench. So yeah, they ended up getting the win. Sargent played. What do you think about Sargent playing the first 45, and then that's it?
yeah. I wonder if it was kind of not forced. It might have happened anyway. But like the fact that obviously Georgie was kind of ill all week, and he probably obviously couldn't do 90. I wonder if that was obviously things are planned. It sounds like to me, yeah, share a 45 each. Had Georgie been fit, would a sergeant came on at halftime for him? I don't know because you're not going to take Georgie off at halftime for no reason. Like if he was just 90 minutes fit, obviously you could have, yeah, Colio could have come off or whoever, yeah, Osorio or Sifu, whoever, one of those three can't start if Sargent, Mihailovic, and Shallow is going to play, right? That just can't happen
Right.
unless you go like back four, whatever way they could maybe play it. No, I didn't think he looked okay. He worked hard. You could tell he's not 90-minute ready. Um, but I don't. I know this is not a sorry podcast necessarily, but I don't think he'll score well on sorry if that's
No, no,
another question.
he's
He's
just
just
gonna be.
he's just negative AA. He works hard though. Like he does get the odd tackle and stuff like that. So I don't know. There could be something sneaky there. But yeah, he looked okay. He didn't look like an $18 million striker. Put it that way.
Yeah, I agree with everything there. One kind of weird thing to me, DeAndre Kerr played as a wingback. I don't know if I've ever seen him play as that. He's been like a striker. But that's interesting moving forward. Maybe they do something like that. Larea played as an outside center back as well. And then on the Columbus side, I mean, this team is just out of sorts. They have been struggling. It's just they're not a good team right now at all. With Rossi playing out wide, that makes absolutely zero sense. We talked about it last week with Andy. Him playing out wide, he just can't do that. That's just not how he plays. It just he has to be through the middle. I don't know. What do you think about Columbus?
Yeah, they're just like a Walmart version of of like the Nancy version, right
Yeah.
now. Like they're just missing that, like, I know they're missing Cooch. They've sort of lost players in the process and gained players in other ways. Obviously, like Andre Gomez has signed and stuff, and obviously the striker Ali. But yeah, they played some good football, but it just didn't really amount to too much. Like the goal, I don't know whether you saw it or not, but I don't know what Toronto were doing, but they had like the whole left side from one clearance was full. It was the weirdest. Like where the camera angle was, I couldn't actually see really what happened. But basically, Alston's just ran down the wing. Nobody's 50 yards in between him. It was really strange. And then he's put this cross in. Gavran probably should have come for it, I think, but he didn't and stayed on his line. And obviously they scored. But yeah, as far as like their team goes, Rossi's just not working. He touched the ball a couple of times. I know he did it the post, to be fair, which could have easily been a goal. And maybe we could be saying something different. But at the same time, he's just not active enough out there. But they play like loads of midfielders. Like it's not as if they have wingers necessarily. Like I know Alston, Alston you could argue is a winger, wing back, whatever you want to call it. But they just love those little triangles, and they love sort of overloading you basically on one side and then sort of maybe breaking out that way. But there's just not enough legs in that team. Like Rossi can't run, Habure can't run, Shambo can't run, Andre Gomez is old, Alston's not slow, and the striker's a striker. So there's just no like, I get what they're doing, but I just don't think it's going to work. I don't think they have the personnel for it.
There is a sneaky rumor. I don't know. I would think he'd be a starter right out the gate, but Josh Winder from Benfica, close to a loan deal from what I saw. 2 different sources on that, so that could be interesting. Zawadzki moved back into a central role last match, and it is a back 4 on paper, but it doesn't play like that in the game. It's still the back 3, and they kind of rotate with that. But Josh Winder could be interesting. I think he's like 20, so it's a little bit of injection into the team. He's not really getting game time at Benfica, so maybe it'll help his progression as well. But I was kind of shocked before the match with the betting odds with Toronto was kind of even-ish. As far as it was pick 'em between the two. And then it was probably just the Mihalovic news, a little bit of that, but it just went the other way big. So for Columbus to be plus 120 or what would that be in decimal? 2.2? Yeah. That's kind of crazy. That was kind of one that shocked me.
I remember seeing that. I was a bit shocked at that as well. Like, you could argue that Mihalovic obviously has an impact, and it did. Because they, Toronto did go 1-0 down, obviously. I don't know. It was a weird one. Columbus, they just don't have enough bite for me right now.
You're gonna have to stick with me just in case we got some crazy thunderstorms, and I just heard them like rumbling a little bit. So if I lose you, that would be why.
You're a little bit. Well, I'm a little bit laggy as well, I think.
Okay. So hopefully this is working out, but we'll get to. It's probably just because I was thinking about Philadelphia, and that's probably the issue there. Philadelphia, shockingly enough, lost again. So we are 5 for 5 losses, and honestly, this team stinks. And it's just, I kind of like doing this pod because it's like, does my mind change from week to week whenever we're talking about and going through these? And it's like everything I thought last week is the same thing. It's brutal.
Oh man, have I had to watch a Philly yet? I think I have watched them once. I couldn't recall what game it was, but it wasn't this week certainly. But I'm not really a betting man, but I would have probably bet that Chicago ends up not losing that game, despite being away and the holy sort of strategy of not picking away wins or even draws in the MLS is normally something that I like to stand by, but you just can't back Philly right now, can you? You just I just don't know where they're going to get boatloads of goals from. Yeah, the odd goal here and there. Obviously, Orlovsky's taken a while to get going, having scored in this game, but like Bedoya, captain, bless it. Like we're talking about like nearly 40-year-old guys. I know Maxi's nearly 40 for New York, but different kind of fish. And Kevin Sullivan, he's a good amazing sort of advocate for the league and stuff. But like when you lose Kai Wagner's, and it's really hard to replace that type of quality, isn't it? And I don't know. I actually like Damiani sometimes. I think he puts himself about, but Yeah, it's just again just not enough quality and maybe not enough experience because it's a young team
Yeah,
in
it
many
is young.
ways outside of it. Bedoya.
Yeah, Damiani, like at times he looks good, but it seems like he's just not like, okay, this is our goal scorer. He just doesn't feel like that guy. He
Uh-huh.
feels like a guy that plays off of a goal scorer and like does a lot of good things. So it's just kind of, you had Ty Bariba last year. You had Mikel Ura. He played well off of them at times, which it can't do that. You got
Right.
to be the guy now. Yeah, Bedoya starting. He had an assist, but Bedoya starting. He's like a player coach. He legit like that's on his contract. He's a player coach, so that's hilarious. Zinkernagel went off clash of heads in the 31st minute. They taped him up, but then he looked woozy, so he's definitely going to be in concussion protocol. Luckily, we're in this international break, so maybe that'll get him. And maybe honestly, it might have just like knocked some sense back into him, and maybe he'll remember how to play.
Yeah, he's like the only thing that's not the only thing that hasn't happened for Chicago, but definitely the most obvious thing that hasn't happened yet. Um, Bamba obviously had a couple of injury worries start of the season. Nice goal for him. Hugo's got a couple of goals under his belt, so yeah, he's kind of done what he sort of brought in to do. But yeah, Zink's been non-existent really. I've liked the look of Seletros. I think he's looked pretty solid. Nice left foot. Some nice delivery from corners and stuff now and again. Well, Edsy looks good, and obviously Jack Elliott didn't play this game but did last game. Yeah, Chicago middle of the road for me. They're decent.
Yeah, I think I was a little bit higher than maybe I should have been coming into the year. I was a little bit higher than them.
Yeah, same. I
Um,
agree on that. So was
I
I.
think I'll take it back a little bit. Last week on the pod, I did say Gutman, whenever he comes back, he'll add something to the attack. He came in, he only
Nice.
played till halftime maybe, but he had an assist right off the bat, which is nice. I think he
Love
does
that.
help down that left flank and give like Bamba a little bit more freedom. They can kind of have some interchanging roles there. Um, Outside of that, um, Elliott's interesting. He had sepsis, so he was in the hospital for a couple of
Wow.
days with a bloodstream infection. So like he was bad shape,
Jesus.
which is crazy. So I don't know what kind of timeline that looks like. He's out of the
Hmm.
hospital. I know that, but that's interesting. Hopefully he's all right.
Yeah, that's a weird one.
Yeah, but I think if you didn't watch this match, imagine trying to watch a movie and your girlfriend keeps talking or your wife, whatever spouse, keeps talking. You have to pause it. Then you have to restart it. Then you have to
Yeah.
pause it. You have to restart it because it was just so many fouls, so many stoppers in play. It was awful. And
Yeah,
yeah,
if you would have told me like there's not going to be any good scores from this game, I would have just believed you before the game.
right.
I know
Yeah.
Bamba scored like 80 on Surrey or whatever,
Yeah.
but
And then to kind of just
yeah.
put everything together, 2.52 XG for Chicago to 0.85. So definitely four
Wow.
big chances to one. They outplayed them heavily. So I don't know
Yeah.
when Philadelphia's first win is going to come. That is one thing that I did want to, because
Ooh, yeah. Wow.
so Charlotte just was an absolute buzzsaw. So maybe
They're
they're
not
back at
winning
home.
that. Yeah.
Montreal, I think this is the home opener for Montreal. No, yes, I
Ooh.
think so. You're not going to win up there. I guarantee they don't.
No.
Then
It's just not happening.
DC at home, they'll probably lose 1-0 again to there. At Toronto, probably won't
Yeah.
win up there. At Columbus, maybe, but doubt it.
Yeah.
Nashville at home, no. At New England, maybe. Like they're winnable games, probably at Orlando.
There's a couple.
Uh,
Yeah. No
but
gimmies though.
they're no gimmies and they're all on the road. So I
Jesus.
just it's a cold cold time here. Let's get to
Yeah.
your home team. You're from like the Nashville area, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you a Nashville fan or do you just kind of
Um,
know team like
yeah.
allegiance?
No, I guess by default I am. Yeah,
Okay.
I'd say yeah, I would say I am. I've probably watched them more than any other MLS team out here. So yeah, I'm definitely a Nashville fan more than any other team, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando, I think talking about Philadelphia and then talking about Orlando back to back, they're the two worst teams in the league.
Yeah.
It's just, it's a brutal watch. They had a couple chances, but I mean, 5-0 here. Surge with the hat trick. Espinoza played well. Hani, where are you, Hani? He had a good score here, but like, I don't know. I expected assists, 0.45. So maybe, he's a little hard done there. But it
Hmm.
is kind of crazy. Just it's the Surge show, and then it's the Espinosa show. It hasn't been the Hani Mukhtar show really at all.
Yeah, it just feels like he gets left out, doesn't he, sometimes with these big game victories to nil and 5 goals scored. Like you'd put your house on him getting something, but the fact that, like you said, yeah, Espinosa's come into the side, chops into some of his corners, and then you've got Sam Surridge who obviously takes penalties. Where a couple of years ago, Hani was basically doing everything, right?
Yeah.
He was a one-man band for a long time. And so, yeah, that obviously is just going to eat into your stats, sadly. But they just look really good defensively. Palacios and I can't pronounce the other guy's name; it's too small on the screen. But
Waleedzy, maybe. Yeah.
Willard, yeah.
Let's
And
call
then
it.
Baker Reed White, I thought was a good addition from Seattle. I always thought he was really athletic, good defender, very versatile, can play anywhere across the back and even wing, or whenever he
Yeah.
wants to play centre mid sometimes. And Andy Najjar finally gets his sort of good game. He's been a bit shaky as far as stats go, if we want to call it that. So
Yeah.
far this season, but yeah, keeper's been immense. Yeah, Surridge again. Could he get the golden boot potentially? He's on his way.
Yeah, I feel like just like last year, so close last year. Set pieces were funny because like they've just kind of been all over the place. 4 corners, 3 were Hani on the left, and 1 was Espinosa on the right. And
Interesting.
Hani before that, he was taking a little bit on the left, but he has been the main taker for the most part on the left. But yeah, he's
Uh-huh.
lost every other role ever since what was that
Bro.
last year where he was scared to take a pen and gave it to Surridge, right?
Think it was. Do you think that was more of like a I'll go get you your golden boot, like go
Yeah,
stat pad maybe? But yeah, you're
yeah.
right. He obviously wasn't on pens, which was brutal.
On the Orlando side, I just can't really think to spend anything, talking about them. Just that I know you're missing guys with like Brekalo was out too. Atuesta was out as well. Janssen's out with the foot, so they're playing these guys. But I mean, Iago came in with some pedigree. Like he was
Mm-hmm.
a Brazilian under what
Yeah.
20 captain or something. Like he
Uh-huh.
had pedigree behind him. Nolan Miller, he was a draft pick, so you can't really. These guys are starting, so
Wow,
not
is he
ideal.
really?
Um, it's just Paslish looks horrible. He's got nothing. Ojeda looks like just he's got nothing around him, or even he looks kind of lost at times. But yeah, I just any team that plays them, especially at home, this is in the cards. Like until we see otherwise.
Yeah. I just don't think they have enough legs or anything to progress.
No, no. Atlanta DC. So I like looking at these attack momentums, and it's just like
Uh-huh.
at home, sure, Atlanta, but like there were a couple spots where DC was in the mix to score, especially at the end of the game. The end of the game, kind of on the front foot, but this was a game that it just Atlanta controlled 71% of the ball.
Wow, that's
It
a lot.
just yeah, like it just seemed like DC never had the ball. They just sat behind, but at the same time, Atlanta couldn't do anything with the ball. They had the ball,
Created
but
nothing.
they created
Yeah,
nothing. 0.31
that's
XG was
insane.
71%. Yeah. I was kind of shocked whenever I was just kind of looking at some of these statistics, and it's like, how do you not create more out of that? Is it more DC just sits back and like we'll hit you on the counter, maybe Ty will pop away with a goal, but I don't know. It's kind of shocking. It's that
It is
big of a
terrible. I
difference.
mean, at least they didn't lose. Like Atlanta,
Yeah,
that is like,
yeah,
they have leaked goals all season. So the fact that there's a clean sheet there is a positive. The negative is obviously they couldn't score, right? Which is the hardest
yeah.
thing to do. But yeah, I mean, Moranchuk, Almiron, Galraz, whatever his name is, and obviously Latte, like again, I just don't think there's enough there for me to like. If you would have said to me before the game, this is going to end like under 2.5 goals or something, I would have
Yeah,
just said probably, right. Like
right.
Atlanta aren't scoring that many. I know they scored a couple last week. Almiron had a couple of assists, but against DC, who they do just defend quite well. Like they don't win many games, but like against an Atlanta team, you could have easily sort of saw this coming. I would have probably said Atlanta maybe would have edged it, hypothetically like a 1-0 or something. But 0-0 doesn't necessarily shock me because yeah, Atlanta have just looked a bit toothless so far.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's 100%. Like Latte Loth, it doesn't have that killer. He's fast, right? But he just doesn't
Yeah,
have
yeah.
that. He's not a finisher, really. One guy that's like interesting, I didn't see this coming at all, is Cooper Sanchez, 17-year-old. He had some
Hmm.
youth caps with the U.S. national team. He's come on and he's quietly inserted himself into the starting lineup. He's started all five.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. He's played out wide a little bit more. He's played centrally. It's kind of shocking that like Steven Alzate or Alzate, however you say him,
Hmm.
he is on the bench. He's just a bench guy now. So
Yeah.
interesting there. On the DC side, Sean Johnson. Let's talk about him a little bit.
The
He
main
was
man.
always like a solid shot stopper in Toronto. Back to your Toronto boys. He's kind of
Yeah.
doing the same thing. He's standing on his head. He's keeping them in it. He's not going to concede a ton of goals. 7.1 rating. Saves for Brennan, 0.64. That's good. 3 saves.
Yeah.
Solid, right? I just, like you said, this DC team doesn't like really just like scream. It's like, yeah, I love this team. They're doing a lot with a little, and
Right. They're
I
just
can't.
designed to snatch and grab, I think, you know.
Yeah, I can't say I like watching them play whatsoever, but
Oh no.
they got like 7 points in 5 matches, so they're starting pretty solid. I mean, they're going to be in
Yeah.
the playoff picture. Can't say that
Better
about
than I thought, put it that way, you know?
yeah.
Like I didn't really have much hope, but
Yeah.
yeah.
You called this one. I do want to say you said we talked beforehand for the matches, but you said that Charlotte could run them out of the building, and they absolutely did. 6-1 against the Red Bulls.
Yeah, this was one of the games I watched last night, to be fair. Yeah, I watched the whole, yeah, that was actually no, I watched Toronto and then I watched Charlotte. Yeah, as far as how I thought the game would go, it was just a sense of like, I think New York are just too young and naive for the most part outside of, Emil and, whoever else they've got is above like 21, which can't
Yeah.
be many. Marshall Rutty's super young. Mehmedi's super young. Kate Cowell is like probably 22, 23 now. Hall's super young. The left wingers, I think, is young. Don Cor's super young. De Santos, it's a very young team outside of the keeper in Forsberg. And yeah, obviously, yeah, big miss, Shea. Mikey Baston calls that there. That obviously doesn't help at all. But yeah, Charlotte are just a little bit too cute, is the way I'd probably describe it. Like they've got too much experience and they're obviously good players, and they're all of an age where like they've played football games,
Yeah.
and seen past, sadly, quick, athletic, hungry youngsters for the most part. And yeah, they're impressive. Like they are really impressive. That Tucker Marty, whatever his name is, he looked really good. Obviously, you've got Westwood sort of pulling strings somewhat, and that Diani sort of breaking lines. Vargas is a bit of a bag of madness. Like you just don't know what you're going to get with him, and
Yeah.
he'll do a backflip, he'll score 3, whatever, right? Tim Ream looks. They're just a solid outfit. Tim
Yeah.
Ream, Harry Toffolo, Premier League experience. Kalina's for me, outside of this game week, one of the best keepers, if not the best keeper in the league. And obviously, Wilf goes without saying, as does Pep Biel. So yeah, there's just too much in that team. Like I look at that 11 and go, how is that 11 going to lose to a New York team where, sadly, like I'm looking at fucking Forsberg on his own basically, and not to say like he is amazing because he's really not. Like if we're
Yeah.
being just brutally honest about it, but when you've got kids around you in this context, there's just not enough in it for me. And they were lucky to score the one goal. Obviously, Kalina ends up dropping a corner, which resulted in a bit of a scramble in the box. But outside of that, to be fair, they did hit the post. Like Donker whacked the bar. I don't know whether you've seen that.
Yeah.
And someone else did hit the post. They had chances, but did I think it was going to be 6-1? No. But am I like that shocked after a red card? Probably not. No.
No. Yeah, you went through the whole team. The only other thing I think that you can even say from this, Archie Goodwin hadn't scored
Yeah.
yet for Charlotte, and he had a brace in like 15 minutes of action. So he came on and made an impact. He was pretty fired up. Abada came on late. He had an assist. But yeah, everyone was clicking, and it's just this Red Bull team. Was it just the fact that they played Orlando week 1, and that kind of made us think that they'd be half decent?
Yeah, potentially. Look, they're all individually like decent play. Like Halls can have a career. Like there's some big players there, like in the future. But I do like Michael Bradley as a gaffer as well. But I just don't think you can. There's only so much you can extract from a team like this, and with Shea out, like Mikey said, you're gonna just leak goals. You really are. Like they played some nice football now and again, but again when they get around the box, it's just a little bit toothless. There was a really good chance once. I think somebody squared it across the box and nobody came in to tap it in. And somebody almost did. I think it was actually Kay Cowell at the end of the box. They had chances, like, in another day, maybe they end up scoring first and it's a different game. But, that just didn't work out.
Yeah, Bergeron, red card. He's usually like a defensive mid more. Him playing at center back was an interesting call. Not saying it's, they had anybody else, but like you got Tim Parker there. I'm not saying Tim Parker's good at all, but he at least knows how to play center back. Yeah.
Experience. Sometimes you've got to just take it.
Yeah. 6-1 there. So 7 goals. Let's go to another 7-goal thriller. This was another wild one. Man, Dallas, Houston. There was actually, I'm really interested to see what this looks like. Yeah. The attack momentum here, that 3-goal stretch was just,
that's crazy.
It was just outrageous. Cause like Guilherme was just everything. It was just, he made everything happen. Like the assist that he had, he was at the center line and he just puts a perfect ball. It's just like, he can do everything, right?
Yeah. He has, he's worryingly good in a good way. I don't think we've got many players like him right now in MLS that can kind of just do everything and anything from like an attacking perspective. Like you look at that Houston team, like with Don Hector back, like can you name me a better two in the midfield than Don Hector and Jack McGlynn, if we're being really honest? Like, like older figureheads, obviously young gun. Bogusz, I really hate Ponce. I think he's terrible.
Yeah, he's horrendous.
His score kind of reflects that. But like, Guilherme looks insane. The defense may be a bit dodgy, but that midfield line and obviously the front line outside of the 9 is really interesting. They've got some massive players, and mad they end up losing the game, but at the same time, scoring 3 away from home's encouraging. They've had a better start to the season than I assumed they would. So. Yeah, I think there's a lot to build on for Houston.
Yeah, back-to-back red cards here. Markanic split open Pentemis in the Portland game. They're still able to win 3-2. And then who was it here? Sviatchenko. Yeah, Sviatchenko got a second yellow. So that kind of was a bit of a turning point as well. On the Dallas side, you don't see a guy that's really important here. He apparently had a knock. Petar Musa.
Yeah.
So, casual, just not in the lineup, and then comes on at halftime, and what do you know? He scores. Best true 9 in the league. I don't know. I think he has to be right. I think Croatia.
He'll be off after the World Cup. I can't see how he stays.
He's going to be on the bench for Croatia. He's in this window. He got called up. He's got to make that team. I mean, he gives you something off the bench that I think is useful if they need that.
Yeah.
And then the other
Dallas is sneaky. Dallas are weirdly sneaky.
Weirdly sneaky. Just Farrington just came in and he was unbelievable. He had a great match, obviously, by the player of the match here.
He's weird, but he's good.
Yeah. He
you'll just have these games where he just pops out of nowhere.
Yeah. Seriously, and he's been good so far. It's just he came off the bench last match, but he had a goal and an assist in the opener, and then 2 goals here. Really? Interesting there. They got a lot of interesting kind of pieces. Who are they linked to? They're linked to somebody.
Moreno.
Yeah, Santi Moreno.
What's his Santi Moreno? Yeah.
That's fun. I mean, if he would get in the mix as well, he was good in
Portland. It's an option.
Yeah.
I liked him at Portland. He was good. But this Valiente looks good. Capis looks decent. Kamungo's obviously been around for a while. This Johansson's a bit of a unit as well. Again, they're just weird. Yeah, they're weirdly sneaky. They're just going to cause problems for teams. They caused the LAFC problems last week. Yeah. And they've obviously caused Houston problems here. So, and I think they've got a really good manager. I don't know his name, excuse me, but he just seems to have, when I've heard him speak, and he looks really on it with what he's doing philosophy wise. Yeah,
Eric Quill. He is been in like the organization, the MLS Next
Okay.
Pro. Or sorry, he wasn't MLS Next Pro. He was in USL Championship and then worked his way up. Tell me if you're interested in these results in this stretch. Just out of curiosity. Home against Nashville draw. At LAFC 1-0 loss, but probably outplayed them. San Diego 3-3 draw, and now Houston 4-3 win. That's the last 4 games for Dallas.
You would never have said they end up getting that. How many points is that? Sorry.
They got 5 points. 5 points in 4 matches in that stretch.
Against two of the best teams in the league. If we're being honest, Houston are going to be top 7, 8 probably.
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
Maybe 10.
Curious,
so crazy.
What their schedule looks like moving forward. Just because
I know they have a couple of home games coming up.
Yes,
I know there's like a DC in there. I think there's a couple, isn't there?
Yeah, we got DC away.
Yeah, wow.
But then home St. Louis, home Galaxy, home Minnesota, at Seattle, at Red Bulls. It's still tricky, but at some point it's got to get easier,
points,
right?
9 or 10 points from the next 4. I'd say that they, would be like not happy. They'd obviously be over the moon with that, but I think they could easily do that.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this through 5. The first match was a 3-2 win against Toronto. They're sitting in 8th, and I mean, it gets a lot easier from here, right? Like, the West is shaping up to be an interesting race. Like, yeah, we haven't gotten to Colorado yet, but they're 3-0-2. I mean, they're doing some things. So
yeah, they're not to be shamed or anything. They're looking good. Salt Lake we'll get onto, but yeah, I like Dallas. I think they're sneaky.
Yeah, really sneaky. Let's get to that Colorado team. I did see that they're up next and wanted to. Rafael Navarro, you love this guy. I hope you still love this guy. Yeah,
I do.
Talk about him.
I do.
He's been really good.
I mean, yeah, like I don't know. For me, like I think he could easily go play Premier League football. Personally, I think he's ready for that. He's no worse than players like Rodrigo, that Muniz that plays for Fulham and stuff. I'm just saying that because they're both Brazilian, and they're very similar stature wise. Like I just don't know what I'm seeing in like a Muniz that I wouldn't see in a Navarro specifically. Is he 10 times better? No, but like I think he's physicality wise. There's not many more number 9s in this league that will give you a hard time as a centre back than him. And he's he can finish. You give him anywhere near the box, outside the box as well. He's got all types of finishes in him, and he's just a bit of an animal. I think I just really like his sort of mentality and just the way he sort of carries himself as a 9. Obviously, I'd still say Moose is probably the best 9, but I don't think there's many better than Navarro. I really don't. Him, Surridge, like if we're talking out and out 9s, it don't get any better for me. And he's perfect for a team like this because you've got, Yappy one side. I really rate Sealer. I know he's had a good game here by the looks of things with that red rating. But they balance each other out really well because Yappy's really quick and direct, and then you've obviously got Sealer who's a bit more silky and comes inside on his left, and then you've got Pax 10 in there, pulling strings and getting a couple of assists, which is nice to see. I think that as much as like Dallas are a problem, I think Colorado are a problem.
Yeah. They're
in a good way.
Sneaky good. And they have the elevation at home, which is huge. So if they're getting wins on the road as well, this is their first win on the road, but it is Sporting Kansas City as well. Team kind of stinks, but Navarro, back to your point, 3 goals and 2 assists in his last 3 matches. He's just on a tear right now.
He works hard. Like he will get tackles, he'll get interceptions, he'll win duels. Because he is so physical. He gets fouled so much. I'd love to know the stats on like 9s that get fouled the most in the MLS, but I guarantee you last year he must have been pretty high up there because he loves being fouled. But watch now, he hasn't been fouled once in this game, I guarantee you. But
let's see. Where's
he had some AA, so I wonder if
Steven dribbling, foul.
Go on to you might be able to find. 4 times he was fouled.
Yeah.
You can see it there.
4 times.
That's a lot, by the way.
It's a lot.
It is. Like fouls. 2's fine, but like 4. Jesus.
Yeah. Like Paxton. Harrington's interesting. He's a young kid, 18 years old, just came in from I think like the Australian League. He's been solid. playing beside Rob Holding. Miguel Navarro back. He started this match, which is interesting. They acquired him and then got rid of him. And like, I think he had a cup of coffee in Colorado, then went on his way. But he's back. That's interesting. And because Reggie Cannon's hurt now, he has an Achilles issue. So kind of interesting. I don't know. I think they're a team that could be a dark horse, and at home they're going to be an out. Sporting Kansas City side, they had chances, but it's just, I don't know, this Janssen or Lasseberg Janssen looks interesting as a defensive mid to go kind of with Manu Garcia, and Manu Garcia can kind of free flow through the midfield and not really have a defensive role at all, which is interesting. Jovic is good. It's just kind of that back line. Jake Davis, I'm glad he's playing right back. That seems like where he should play. I don't think he's a winger. I don't think he's a central mid. So I do think that is the best spot for him. He actually scored pretty well on his SOFA score here. Nice. But yeah, just these three. It's just Meyer, Bartlow,
it's like a three-man band, isn't it?
Yeah. It's just, I know Jaden Reed missed this match, but even Jaden Reed, like, he couldn't sniff much playing time in St. Louis. It's just, there's not a lot to get really too excited about. I'm interested to see this Capita guy. He's like a left winger, left mid. He's still waiting on his visa. I don't know anything about him, but
yeah,
somebody's got to be better than what we got here.
Than Shappy.
And Shappy, yeah. Shappy takes a free kick. Love to see it.
Yeah.
Let's go to my bold call, and I guess it wasn't that bold if you look at the odds. They were actually favored, -116 favorites, so not that bold when it kind of came down to it, but I said that St. Louis would beat New England at home. I thought it'd be an emotional match. The whole Leuven situation, everything going on. Didn't look like it was kind of like the same Toronto situation, playing a little possum, down 1-0 early.
Yeah.
But you can kind of see they controlled the game. At times, not so much, but we were both rooting for Hartel, and he had an unbelievable goal, if you want to.
Oh my God. I was watching the game, like, at that time, I was still sort of alive, not knowing if Berhalter was going to play, which we'll get onto it. But and I was just thinking, what are we going to get from Hartel here? Because it felt like nothing. The game was kind of bypassing him, and intercepted that ball, and it bounced up perfectly. And he's just taking this volley from 50 yards out. It was like, what are we doing? And Matt, there has to be a freeze frame of Matt. I can't even think of his second name now. Matt,
Turner.
What is it? Yeah, Turner. Like jumping into his own goal. I'd love to get like the cam of it because it's fun. He's like frog splashed the goal. It's amazing.
He's like, no.
He's like, no. But you know what? Honestly, not to say like you said, they were favourites to win. Like, it's not that crazy of a shout to say they're going to beat New England, despite New England battering Cincy last week 6-1. But what I was going to say was, again, I watched Dallas outplay LAFC. This seems to be a theme for me right now. And then I saw St. Louis outplay LAFC last week. I genuinely did. I couldn't believe it. I was sweating an LAFC clean sheet, which ended up coming in. But I'm telling you, St. Louis could have scored a couple that game quite comfortably. I really like this wing back. Is it Wallen or whatever his name is? Or I can't see it too.
Or
mate,
something.
I don't know how well he scores on So Rare, but you can see his SOFA score rating there is pretty nice at a 7.5. He is really good. Like, he won the free kick. Nothing really came of it actually in the end, but like there was a time where he was like marauding on. He literally ran the whole field. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Like, he creates a lot. He's really athletic, and everything goes down that side, despite Santos being really good from like set pieces on the other side. I'm telling you, St. Louis aren't as bad as maybe we probably give them credit for start of the season, let's say. Like, I'm not saying I love the back three. Paul Vara's a centre mid by trade. He's fine. Santos, Wallen, Durkin, Edelman. I really liked Edelman when he was at Red Bulls last year. I think he's an amazing addition. He's like a baby Durkin, basically, that can maybe play a bit better. And then Hartel, I don't think Pompey's up to much. And I do like the striker. I think the striker's a bag of madness is how I'd describe him. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get. He might do overhead kick. He might do, he might just miss 5 big chances. And yeah, they're an interesting team, and they've got a wicked keeper.
Yeah.
they're not as bad as like we maybe give them credit for.
Yeah. Betcher's goal, it was a beautiful chop into a beautiful finish. It was just like,
Yeah,
who was that?
I know. Who is like he turns into different players. It's weird
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. On that back line, I'm kind of interested. Mamadou, he's going as Mbake, but he was Mamadou Fall for whenever he's with LAFC.
Yeah, yeah.
He played 45 minutes last weekend with City 2. Then he came on for the last 9-ish minutes here. So I do think he's going to be in a starting role, and he's interesting to me, especially if Orozco can't go. Maybe he gets in. And then Fall. I thought coming into the season they would have a fall back line, center back duo.
Yeah.
But we haven't seen him either.
Full
He's
squid.
I think an ankle injury or something like that, where he's kind of coming back. But yeah, a lot better than I thought they were. New England, Langoni another assist, so he's getting on the board a lot. Feingold was the goal scorer. He was kind of just wide open, kind of a sleepy little spot. Carl's Hill, 7.3 rating, so no decisives, right? Again, but he's kind of everywhere from these passes. That's his game. He's going to pass the ball around. It's going to move around. 0.5x assists, so kind of one big chance created.
Had chances. Like on another day, there's an assist there, right?
Right. Yeah. Some key passes, some key areas too, especially that one real tight in there. Yeah. We kind of debated, is he dust because he didn't have any decisives, any goals or assists in a 6-1. None again here. I think he's still fine. I don't think he's quite the player he was.
Yeah.
But he's not the worst player I've ever seen.
What helps is like, for example, right, Deke, like say if Espinoza came on this side for whatever reason, like that would just not kill him, but we just know how it's affected Hanny. Yeah. Gill's just lucky in some ways that there isn't anyone else with influence in the team. I know Langioni's had a couple of decisives and has looked good, but he's a different player to what I'm kind of describing here with like the Espinoza type of play. If a player like that came in, it would be worrisome for a Gill. I think like they might play better, but if we're talking like Sorare scores or Sofa scores, I just don't see him being as fruitful. So he is lucky. He's still a one-man band, which is still good for fantasy, I guess.
Yeah, he just everything still plays through him. I know he hasn't been taking sets on the one side, but like you look at Youssef on the left wing, I'm surprised Griffin Yao hasn't gotten more run. Youssef's a midfielder. If you think about all the way back, but you played in the Belgium league, right? I remember having him like Antwerp. 4 years ago. Yeah, that's who it was.
Yeah, he's like a CDM centre mid at best.
Yeah, they're playing him on the wing, and it's just like. Griffin Yao wasn't better than that? Man, that's disappointing.
I agree with you. I think the only thing they've done, I think they've tried to combat that that Wallen kid, like because he is so attacking.
Yeah,
I bet it was something to do with like trying to stop that. I'm just trying to guess, but yeah.
All right, let's get to LAFC. You don't believe in LAFC, or I don't know if I would say believe, but they've struggled the last few games, right?
Yeah, I think there's holes. There's holes, isn't there?
They looked like absolute world beaters, and then I think they've had a falling out since.
It's really strange. I know they've had loads of midweeks and stuff, which doesn't help any team. So I'll cut them a little bit of slack in some way, especially the attackers. But defensively, I can't say anything negative, right? Like they have kept a ton of clean sheets in the league. And have gone away to Costa Rica's and wherever else the last couple of weeks. So, yeah, I can't really fault them from a defensive standpoint. I'm actually quite impressed with how they've looked for the most part. It's like 4 centre-backs playing at the back, realistically. In a way, I know Palencia's not a centre-back, but, none of them are like super attacking fullbacks in any way, which then that's the only reason how Bouanga, Son, and whoever else plays can work. Because you can't have attacking fullbacks and have wingers that aren't going to track back either, basically. I know Son plays as a 9, but, it's just a weird one. And then midfield, I think Delgado is really solid. I've always liked Delgado. I really don't like Tillman. I think he's really bad. I just don't... If Eustachio's fit, I think Chaunier is a better player for me than Tillman. Now, I know Chaunier is maybe more similar to Eustachio than maybe Tillman is. But they've got that Boudry maybe on the bench as well. He's quite sneaky. Yeah, I don't think he's like starter ready, but I think Delgado, Chonier, and I've loved Chonier since Montreal days. Like I've always been high on Chonier. But him and Estacio could be the midfield. But man, what can we say about the front line? Like David Martinez is the best out of the three right now, right? Like he actually is. Like he's carrying them. I watched him. Who did he? Yeah, the St. Louis game. He scored an absolute worldie to win the game, I think it was. And then he scored a worldie midweek, didn't he?
Alajuelense, yeah, the game winner to move him on. Yeah, it's crazy, right? It's just Son and Bouanga. More Bouanga for me. I think Son is struggling. I'm not saying he's not, but he could easily have like 3 assists to Bouanga. Bouanga had another one coming down the left flank, and he just missed the target. He's just struggling. One like kind of tactic that I think is just unbelievable what they're doing, and I'm interested. Aaron Long's back training, I believe, from that torn Achilles. This upcoming week, he's scheduled to be in team training. So, what are they going to do with him back? They're going to ease him in, that's for sure. This back line has been so good. I don't know why you would change anything to fit him in. I do like how Palencia gets forward a decent amount. And when he does, Portia slides out to like a right center back, Tafari in the middle, and then Segura slides, more left side there. So it's like a back three in possession. It's really good. I just defensively, it looks awesome. It's just that they're not scoring goals, which you would think this attack, they would be all over it. But yeah.
It's so weird, man. Genuinely, like it's really hard to like. If someone said to you, Son and Bouanga playing with each other in the MLS, how many goals have they scored so far? Or whatever this thing like the scoreline is, you would say there's no way they ever draw a game 0-0. Like it's just impossible. They might lose a game, but there's just no way those guys aren't scoring goals, and it is a bit frightening. More so, I know Bouanga has missed a couple of more than a couple of big chances, which then affects Son. There's a knock on, but Jesus, this is worrying. Like. It is worrying. It really is. Like, if they can't score goals, and if those two aren't scoring goals, you're looking for like a 19-year-old David Martinez to bail you out. That's not going to happen every game. I know Delgado chips in. Chonier scored 2 unbelievable goals last week, didn't he? Both identical. I think they were actually against St. Louis. Sorry, I had the David Martinez goal the week before. Sorry. Yeah, like, I don't know. Worried in some ways for them. I'm just happy they're not conceding, for sure.
Absolutely. Bouanga, I don't know if there's data that supports this, but he always seems to start super slow, like to start the year, then he just goes on a tear. You kind of wonder, like Hatlingen said in the comments, this international break, probably pretty solid for those guys. Maybe to kind of...
Yeah, but it's still travel, isn't it, Deke?
Yeah, like, there's still travel,
especially for Bouanga, like I don't know where they're playing, but let's just guess somewhere in Africa.
Right?
I think Son may be. Yeah, I'm sure Son's playing in America or something. I could be wrong on that, but I'm sure I could be completely off there. Someone's going to definitely correct me, but I'm sure they like aren't playing in South Korea this time around. But whatever that doesn't matter.
But if your problem is your 2 best players, that's probably a good thing, right? As far as if defensively you look great, in the midfield you look solid, and you're deep, and I don't know. But a 0-0 draw, right? It's at Austin. Austin can be prickly, I would say, to say the least. It's not that I don't think this team's very good. It's just they're tough to play against.
No, it's not.
They did have the goal waved off. Was it Uzuni scored from the corner, Torres corner
from Torres,
but okay, Mike Bass.
I like Austin though.
South Korea's playing in England. Couldn't know.
That was I knew there was some sort of connection somewhere. Sorry, but no, mate. On Austin, I think they're you're right. They're not a good 11. If we're looking at names there by any means, right? But Facundo's quality, mate, from set pieces, I'm telling you, is a serious problem. And it happened away to Salt Lake, I think, last week, where I was sweating the Salt Lake clean sheet. And Facundo pops up with an unbelievable ball for John Bell. Great goal, header from the back post. And it's just like, with quality like that, it doesn't matter how good, you've got Lloris in goal. It doesn't matter. There's going to be goals scored because set pieces are so important in modern football, more so than ever before. They're still missing a few players. Owen Wolf to come into this side. Like, I'm telling you, Austin will gradually get better. And I'm not saying like they're going to go blow teams out of the water, but I really think like foundationally, great keeper. Heinz Ikes looks solid. Gallagher's look good at right back. Sorry, I don't like Rosales playing as a winger. I think he has to play left back personally. In a lot of ways, and that might happen eventually. Elis Sanchez, obviously, the strikers are terrible. Like, if we're being honest, like they'll run all day for you. They're big galoots, but they're not gonna be game changers necessarily. So yeah, Wolf needs to come back in. And then Brandon Vasquez is, I don't know when he's fit, but he'll have to be a decent addition to this side, no?
Yeah. He should be back training within like a week or two
Okay.
to at least get back on the field and move around. Yes and no. Yeah. I feel like he's a very similar, like Azuni is like, he'll kind of do the same thing that these guys are doing, but he might just be a little bit more clinical, maybe. And like actually be a goal scorer. But yeah, the other thing Thomas said that he said didn't Gabon suspend their football operations since they failed to qualify. Wow. So that would be good for Bouanga to just like chill,
score some goals in training. Yeah, like, right. Go play for LAFC 2 or something. Like go play with your son in the back garden because you can't score right now in a real game. So.
Give that guy a slump buster or something. The Saturday night that just really torched us all.
Yeah.
I feel like this is going to be a rant from both of us for sure. So I'm just going to lead it off with BB Land and Cattle. We do a who you got beef with every game week. Any chance Vancouver and Sorensen has that?
Yeah, I think they are on that title this week. Surely to God, I don't know. I know they lost midweek to Seattle. They lost both games, didn't they? Technically, in the CONCACAF, whatever it was, and I was saying to you last night, was it punishment that they're not starting Muller and their best player Berhalter? Was it? This doesn't apply to both players because obviously Muller doesn't go on away, international duty. But is Berhalter being rested because you've got internationals coming up? I'm not saying that's true. I really don't think it is. I think it's more the former in the sense that I really think they kind of got punished in a way because you're not starting your best two players. Like, I know Muller hasn't been exceptional, right? But Berhalter is by far your best football player. Facts. Like there's just no, you can't tell me otherwise. Nobody can tell me otherwise. And I just don't know if this is the game after losing to Seattle back-to-back where you decide to drop them both. And you gave him 15 minutes, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know how long did Muller get? I don't know how long did Muller. Did he? Wow.
Yeah, came on at halftime.
Interesting then. Okay, so that maybe plays into, are they resting Berhalter then in a sense of like for international duty?
That was my spin that... somebody above them said, hey,
he's played a lot.
He's played a lot. He's playing 90 or 80 plus minutes in every match. Give him a little rest. But like, you can't think of that angle happening. Like this is you would think they'd want to win. But weird, right?
So strange.
Just the team that they
Kubas as well. Sorry, Deke, can I just add?
Yeah.
Like that's what made it even crazier. You thought, that your best two CD, one of your better two CDMs is definitely out. Yep. Surely Berhalter's first name on the team sheet. Never mind if even if Kubas was fit, he's probably still, first name. So I just that one was a baffling one. Really was. I ended up going to bed actually before this game even kicked off. I was tired of the shenanigans and I just called it a night. But they ended up losing. Daniel with a massive game. No Werner. What was all that about? Not that I really care, but
Werner apparently had some back pain. But he came
carrying his team too much. Yeah, that makes sense.
The goal, as Rikaman said, my lord, was it a rip from LaRue.
Good goal, Bo LaRue.
It was really good.
I'll go on YouTube.
Yeah,
I rate him. I think he's a serious talent, by the way.
Yeah. He came out of kind of nowhere.
Yeah,
Takioka
he's
came out to
sneaky.
like punch it. He probably could have caught it. Maybe, I don't know. It's here or there. It came out to him and
I'll have a
he
watch now.
just ripped it. So as you check that
Wow.
out, it was beautiful. Um, yeah, Werner, he's added something to the team that, making things happen. Like, uh, what's crazy about this, they won 3-0 in the opener, okay, against Spring Kansas City. Atlanta
Yeah.
2-0, at Philly 1-0, lost Seattle 1-0, and then won 1-0 here. Daniel has been unbelievable. The defensive efforts here, another crazy output. As far as, I mean, over a goal prevented, 6 saves, 4 inside the box. He's a stud. He's a stud, and yeah, pretty solid. Sikaris still taking 10 sets a game. It's just outrageous. And you look at this team, and it's not big names of like guys you're like, man, this team's a buzzsaw at all. But man, they're doing
Hmm.
it. I thought they'd be one of the worst in the league, and I was completely wrong on that.
I
That's for
know.
sure. DeJuan Jones kind of fell on the turf and just like laid there for like
Ooh.
it was weird.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was like a
Yeah.
muscle thing, but he had to be subbed off. It was weird. He
Hmm.
was laying like face down and like plays going around him, and like they didn't blow it for a
Oh
while.
wow.
They blew it, and he like was able to get up, but like kind of weird. And he does a lot on that left side. I think Vitor Costa came in for him, but um, yeah, I don't. I this is a statement win, but not when you look at who played. I don't know. Like
Yeah,
a
yeah,
win
yeah.
in Vancouver, regardless, is a big win. It is, but I don't think
For
I'm
sure.
taking as much out of it as maybe I should, just because of that. But I don't know.
Hmm. No, there's still merit in it for sure, but you're right. Yeah, it's not like a vintage full strength Vancouver team. But yeah, Daniel, one of the best keepers in the league, I think. Like individually, as long as he's got half decent defenders in front of him, and this year it does look like he kind of just does without knowing any of the names outside of John
Right.
Jones. Um, but yeah,
Daniel
like you
Mooney
just
has
look at the
been
team and
good.
you go, yeah, Mooney's been good, Roberts has been decent. But like you said, there's no sort of stellar names outside of Werner coming off the bench, but they're just making it happen. Sometimes you do have 11. If you've got 11 players like singing off the same hymn sheet, like you can just get results in this league, and especially if you can run. I say before, I know I slated the Red Bulls, but these have like a really good keeper, like really good. And I'm not slating Horvath too much, but it does help. And yeah, they're a problem. I'm not saying like at home they're gonna go blow teams out of the water, but they're like a weird away team. Like you don't really want to play them. Like if you're at
No.
home, because this can happen. If you end up dropping your best player like Berhalter.
Yeah, and the Seattle match, they lost 1-0. Seattle rotated like crazy in that match too. So like they outplayed them
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
heavily. Andy Thomas played well in net, but they probably should
yeah,
have scored and should have gotten a result there as well. So I think they've had a little bit of like positive with team sheets and like teams playing in CONCACAF, because the last 3 matches they've played have been Philly, who've been with CONCACAF, Seattle CONCACAF, and Vancouver CONCACAF. So
yeah.
they have taken advantage, and maybe that was an angle that we probably should have seen coming in, just with these teams struggling a lot of the times with um, issues, with all that congested fixtures early in the season. But yeah, that was a Saturday slate. Have you watched anything today?
I haven't watched anything today. No, I've been out all day.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of run around. I
yeah,
saw
not watched
highlights.
anything.
Kind of went through
You've
box scores.
seen
I did
highlights, yeah.
just see that Portland and the Galaxy drew at the end of that, even with the early red.
Ooh,
So I'll be interested to see
yeah.
what that stat line looks like. But let's start in Cincinnati. The just kind of the beef to start here is Celentano gets hurt in training yesterday, the day before the match. What are we doing in training? Did he fall in the bathtub and like we're just not saying it? Like it should be a walkthrough.
What's happened?
You're the person, you've played, football, soccer, or whatever you want to call it. Like the
Yeah,
day before a match, what does it look like?
yeah, not much really. I mean, yeah, set pieces at most, and then Yeah, it probably ends there, to be honest. Like, you'll do possess. I don't know what the keepers are doing. Keepers do their own thing, but they end up doing, set pieces eventually for the most part. And yeah, you could probably land awkwardly catching a ball, or the unfortunate thing can happen to where, like, yeah, that freak accidents maybe do occur. They said it was a knock, didn't they? So that tells
Yeah.
me somebody's like, yeah, he's jumped up for a ball and he's landed awkwardly. That's the only thing I can really think about outside of, yeah, because like you're not. I don't think you're playing like five aside or seven aside before a game, especially after they travel back. They played Thursday night,
Yeah.
right? So they probably didn't train Friday. They probably traveled back Friday, day off that day, and then yeah, back in Saturday, couple of set pieces surely, and then game Sunday. Like that's what the logic says. I don't know how Cincy training actually looks, but that's gutting, isn't it? Because I luckily don't have one, so as far as Surrey goes,
Yeah.
but I'm sure people had tons of people would have played him today.
Him and Miles
Being at home to
Robinson.
Montreal, despite yeah, like
Got a red
I was
card.
so close to buying both of those.
Yeah.
I had offers out on those two all week, looking to get those two in for my streaks, but yeah, lucky it didn't really matter whether I faded them or not, but I'm just gutted if anyone did have them and got affected by it. But at least they won a game of football, Deke, because it's been dire so far for Cincinnati. Like, at least they beat Montreal. I know that's crazy to say because it's Montreal. I don't know. I don't know where to start. Cincy are honestly terrible so far.
Defensively, yeah. And just to throw on a tin hat, and I don't think this is the reason at all, but Roman Salentano was selected in the U.S. call-ups. I mean, they don't play in like
Yeah.
for 6 days, so this wouldn't be the reason. But like, it's just funny that like Berhalter last night and then him not playing. It's just like, what are we doing
Right.
here, man?
Well, I actually, just to contradict that a little bit, Deke, sorry, I saw the Schultz has been added in. I don't know whether you've seen that.
Oh, I did not see that. Okay, so
Yeah, I had a
actually is a
scroll
real
on
thing.
Twitter earlier, and randomly saw that he's withdrawn. So yeah, maybe it's a bit worse than we
Wow.
think.
So Evan Laura, and
Laura, what a guy!
what Fabian Morozic, or I think that's how you say his name. He's on loan from Liverpool.
Oh,
Maybe he gets
oh
in the mix
yeah, yeah,
here.
yeah. I saw that signing a few weeks ago. I thought it was random, but maybe they might
Yeah,
need him now.
right. Um, yeah, mostly first team side. If you look here, on So Rare, Vander did not score well, but 7.1 rating. So he had to have
Yeah.
done some good things here. He did have a few shots. Any on goal? Yeah, 2 were saved,
Hmm.
outside of the box ish. Key passes, 2 pretty good areas. Looks like that. 0.19 assists, so nothing crazy there. But yeah, you would think it was kind of like talked about Hill last week. 4 goals, 4-3 match, and Evander isn't involved in any of them is shocking. It
I
just
know.
blows my mind. Um, yeah, Miles Robinson red card. Um, just I don't know. It's just a weird match. They were able to win. I think what
Yeah.
Barlow scored the winner late, I believe. How late? Oh no, Denke did. 94th. Barlow scored in the 80th, and then Denke scored in the 94th. Both after the red. So they outscored him 2-1 after the red.
Yeah, I mean the manager will be happy that they've managed to do that, obviously with a red, like you said. But yeah, like Montreal seem to be scoring 3 goals in every game so far. It feels like they seem to score goals. Fair play to them. I don't know how it happens. I know Willie Carmona's on a bit of a run, by the way.
Yeah,
As a little, isn't he? He's got like excuse me, 3 goals or 4 goals in 3 games, or a couple of decisives. He's looking good.
yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere. We talked. I mean, it was like a revenge match
Yeah, the Red
against
Bulls
Red
one.
Bulls, right? He had what 2 goals in that one. He had an assist against Orlando, and then a goal here.
Wow.
So he's on a tear.
Yeah.
Owusu scores goals. I know one was a pen, but he had 2 goals and
Yeah,
assist
he
here.
does. He does.
He's been like last year. He was their like lone bright spot of anyone.
Uh-huh.
Um, but again, this lineup stinks. Like it's
It's not
just
great.
it's not good.
I do like Jaime, whoever his name is,
Yeah,
Ivan Jaime or whatever. He's
yeah,
he's good. They've got a few, Carmona, Jaime, and Owusu. They like we said, they're scoring. Who they've scored 3 goals in a couple of games so far, haven't they? I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
And
Three
that
against Red
doesn't.
Bulls and three here.
Yeah, like it doesn't really surprise me. But then I go, they're obviously going to concede a couple, right? Because the back line isn't saying too much. The CDMs aren't necessarily saying a lot either. So yeah, this is just going to be like, yeah, can we outscore you type of game, which is the MLS normally in a nutshell. Outside of like your San Diego's, LAFCs, who are really defensively resolute. So I don't know. I think Montreal are sneaky. Whenever they get their like 10 home games in a row, start getting on the Montreal train.
Yeah, I mean, look at these results, and I'm pretty sure they still have one more. I think they got six straight away,
Wow.
so they got one more. San Diego 5-0 loss in the opener. Chicago
Yeah.
3-0. Then at Red Bull 3-0 win.
They scored
2-1
six
loss.
goals. Oh yeah, yeah.
2-1 loss to Orlando. At
Oh
Orlando,
yeah.
and then 4-3 loss here up a man. It's just like they're going to be kind of interesting to watch just because those matches are just going to be wild and
Uh-huh.
not make a lot of sense.
No, not at all, mate. Not at all.
Another wild one was a 3-2 here. Messi was all over what he hit crossbar and post
Yeah,
in this
4 shots
one.
on target. I think he
Yeah,
got plus
yeah,
plus the post and the bar.
yeah.
No
Um,
RDP.
no RDP. He his girlfriend slash fiance, whatever you want to call it. They were
Yeah.
dancing in the night. It was a knock. I'm not sure what that knock was.
Yeah, I don't know where the knock was, but
Maybe they're knocking boots. But yeah, he was the lone man out of this one. As far as guys you would think would play. But yeah, Messi had a good match. Weird that both center backs got goals. That's for
yeah,
sure.
wow.
Mikhail and Lujan both scoring the other 2 goals, with Messi scoring the other. And as far as New York City, Morales keeps to do it. You love this guy.
He's a immortal.
Yeah, immortal. Yeah. You look at like
You know.
he's what, 38, 39 years old, and
Yeah.
you compare him to like, we laughed about like Bedoya, but like Bedoya still, like, he'll run hard as he can, but like
Yeah.
Maxi's still so technical and like he can do it at that age, right?
He doesn't need to run, Max. He's
No, he
so good,
doesn't.
like you say, technically.
Oh man.
Especially when you've got like Parks, who's so physical and can cover ground, and so does O'Neill. So he is sort of blessed with a lot of youth and sort of quality around him. You're gonna have half a chance especially if you're a good player yourself. You're gonna get into positions, and yeah, mate, New York. I know they've lost here, but they were top, I think, weren't they, before this game? I don't know how necessarily it looks now on the table, but mate, I think Truin's like one of the signings of the season for them. I think he's especially now he's figured out like I'm going to be a centre, like they're going to play him centre back.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nashville at home for
Yeah. I
top.
mean,
Sorry,
still.
yeah. So they're still up there. Yeah, not many teams will go and beat New York at home. I know Miami have obviously just done that. No surprise really, but I think they've considering that like no one was really that high on New York beginning of the season. If we're being honest, like nothing had really changed outside of Truin. Obviously, we know they've got an amazing keeper, but no one really came in to be like, oh my God, they've just signed this guy. They actually lost their DP to an ACL injury, if we're being honest. So, like, they regressed if you're just talking about like quality of the lineup. But the fact that they're managing to do this with Mark Howe playing as like this false nine type of character who, he could play anywhere. He's that good. Like, yeah, it's like that Carlos Heel effect where you can literally just do anything basically. As long as he has the ball, things can happen. And Wolves looked okay. O'Heider's actually looked pretty sharp. I
Yeah.
think he's a bit erratic, but he has had involvements. I can't really fault him. O'Toole's solid enough, and Gray. I think Gray is immense. By the way, I think he's had. I didn't used to rate him a few years ago, but over the last year or so, he's really come on, and not many wingers get the better of him at all.
No. Yeah, he's really good. He's athletic. He can do a lot of really good
Yeah.
things. And And it's just like last year they had Justin Hack, who seemed like he was so big to this team, right? And then they get Truin, and Truin's probably better. Like, look at what Hack is doing it with the Galaxy. He's not an everyday starter. It's
nope.
just, I know they have rotation and everything, but Truin, you were I think first man on that train. And
one of the first,
he took the start from Raul Gustavo, and he started the opener for Parks, who's still coming back. But with his versatility, they have a lot of versatility in this team, which is huge. Wolf is like the guy that's kind of not doing anything, but like in theory, he's a solid player.
Works hard.
Yeah, I think that it's a loss, 3-2 loss. You have probably one of the better keepers in the league in Matt Freese, and just above and beyond, Miami are going to beat teams. They just are. You have Messi. He's going to have his off. And especially like with them getting knocked out in CONCACAF Champions Cup, this was probably like I'm pretty pissed. Let's go out and get 100%. This done, in New York City. But that's from
I was just going to add, Mikey Baston was early on the Truin train as well.
Nice.
I know he's in the chat.
Love it.
I'm not shocked that Messi and obviously Miami have won this one, to be honest.
Yeah. Last two here. This one was it was definitely finished before we got on, but Minnesota, Seattle, absolute snooze fest. If you look at neither over a goal, there was two big chances for Seattle, but you look at these teams, Pereira still playing well, which is solid. You got Pereira playing well. There's some good pieces here, but going to the Seattle team, Alex Roldan got hurt. I don't know the extent of it, but he left early, 22 minutes, and Jackson Reagan got rotated for like the first time in a really long time. And Tino Lopez, again, with a nice SofaScore rating. This kid just got his contract.
Where'd they get him from?
Seattle 2, the Tacoma Defiance. 8.4 rating in the opener, and then 7.3 again. Like, crazy. He's 23. Like, he just came out of nowhere, which is...
That one's wild. Yeah, he's not even young, really.
No. So that's kind of crazy. He just came out of nowhere, and he's living up to it. Reagan coming back from injury is kind of just the congested fixtures. So I think that's why he was rotated out. And then like Jesus Ferreira was rotated. So Manungu started the midfield there. Pekovic, who's on loan from Charlotte, he started. So it wasn't like a great team. Jordan Morris did come off the bench late. So he's back. I'm sure he'll get injured very soon. Feel bad for him, but he's just a walking wheelchair, really. But I don't know. What do you think about either? It's a 0-0 match, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Fixture congestion, like you said, with Seattle. I'm not shocked that they haven't gone and like blown Minnesota out of the water, despite obviously being away. I'm not necessarily expecting that at all. Am I shocked there's 0-0? Honestly, probably not. Like, Seattle are tough to score against, and Seattle don't actually score that many goals, never mind away. So 1-0 Seattle would have probably made sense to me in my head before the game, just because of how sneaky Seattle are. But at the same time, Minnesota can they can normally pack a punch with Pereira's creativity. Yeboah's kind of regressed from that. He had like a nice little hot start, didn't he, a couple of games, and he's kind of gone off the boil since then. Chancellor hasn't done anything. Yeah, I'm not too high on Minnesota, to be honest. Seattle just churn results, don't they? Like, they just rarely ever get beat, but they never really like destroy teams unless it's like just call it Kansas City or something. Like, I know they're missing both their centre backs. Don't get me wrong, Jesus Ferreira, like you said, like they're missing players right now, Seattle. So considering that, I think 0-0 is a great result for them.
I mean, with these injuries, if you look at the center back, kind of how we got to Antino Lopez, Yamar, Kim Ki-hee, he's out. Stuart Hawkins, he's out.
Yeah.
Ryan Saylor is out. So we went through all those guys, and then this Antino Lopez just comes up and he's a stud. Like, they find diamonds in the rough, and they rarely go outside of like their guys. It's just like a cohesive group.
They don't spend that
Um,
much, do they?
they don't.
Like
No,
ever,
it's
really?
interesting. Their last five in all
Mm.
competitions at Seattle, or sorry, at St. Louis, they won 1-0. At Vancouver, that was that 3-0 win, CONCACAF Champions Cup. At San Jose, 1-0. Vancouver 2-1, and then a draw here. That run of fixtures is pretty crazy. And to
Yeah,
go 4 matches away from home and come back with 4 wins and 1 draw, I think
it's insane.
they're going to be very happy with that. So, um, yeah, I'm not sure the extent. Hatlingen asks before the World Cup. I don't know the extent on Neymar. They were just kind of waiting for results, and we haven't really heard the full kind of part of that. But I don't know on that. Last two, we'll just kind of get out of here. Usually try to do an hour 15. We're a little over it, but and I know you got
That's all
bedtime to
good.
worry about and everything, so don't want to hold you up
That's all
here.
good, mate. All good.
1-1 Portland Galaxy. So this did finish up while we're on air. So I was kind of following along, saw the red card, Kamal Miller, red card early, and
Ooh.
Velde actually scored. So that was before the red. Shocking because he struggled a little bit. He scored. Is that back-to-back matches now? Him scoring? Yeah, it is.
Think
Uh,
so, yeah.
yeah. So maybe if he gets into form, I just don't like Phil Neville personally, and I think Finn Sermon's good. I think they're interesting across the board, but I like Cole Bassett. With him
Yeah.
out, it changes the team for sure. I don't know. What do you think about Portland?
Yeah, I can't be too high on them. Valde has looked good. Like he's kind of bullied the Costa off of everything basically. So
Yeah.
the Costa's kind of on the mudded side of things right now. I think from like a a scoring fantasy perspective. Yeah, I don't know. Portland. I've never been interested in Portland players really outside of David da Costa over the last year or so, year and a half. I just they just don't ooze fantasy points. If I'm
Yeah.
being honest,
Yeah.
even being at home. So. Yeah, I can't say too much about. I don't rate Kelsey to be honest. I think he's very average. Yeah, again, there's just not enough in that side for me to be too high on them.
No, no. And then the Galaxy, um, they've had success and maybe they can build off that with playing Mount Pleasant and like Peck scoring goals. Like maybe just seeing that happen is positive, but um, I don't know. The big kind of news here is Marcin Kowski started over Mikovic.
Yeah,
So that's something to watch. Goalkeeper change there. Hopefully you guys have your Marcin Kowski's, even though no Galaxy goalie is probably going to be playable anyway. um, but yeah, they got interesting guys. They have veterans. So in theory, they could be all right. Glesnes is out for 4 to 6 weeks with a calf strain. So like Hack is sliding in. Garza started today, but it's usually Yoshida. I don't know. I don't love the team. I think Peck's good. I think Klaus is good. He helps them a lot. I just think there's a lot of teams in the West better than them, but they could sniff the playoffs.
yeah. They'll end, like you said, with a bit of experience that they have, they'll end up doing something that like not you wouldn't expect, but just sort of just doing what they're probably paid to do type of thing. I don't think they'll exceed expectations in any way, but they will naturally just get results because Royce, Peck, Klaus, there is just goals and assists and all sorts of things in that. Hack's obviously decent at the back with Gasrez or whatever his name is. He's okay. Yeah, they're going to concede goals, but they probably will score goals as well. Yeah,
Yeah, and
I'm not high.
yeah, that brings us to our last game, and I have a little bit of rooting interest in. There's a
Ooh,
VAR check for penalty against Dua. Um,
that would be
that was
typical,
kind of
by the
my
way.
last stand
Your
for
last
this
hope.
game week.
Oh, Jesus.
But first off, let's just get through lineups. We'll figure out the result of that here.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at lineups, so this will be firsthand. No real major changes. This is the first team side for San Diego. We were kind of worried about how the game week went with how bad it would be. Everyone's
Uh,
playing there, so that's a positive. If somebody has they played Messi with for San Diego, that's at least you have a chance until this
right.
VAR comes back and now you're dead. But yeah, I love this San Diego team to watch. I think Toluca, I don't know. It's so hard to play there. They're so good. They're at elevation. They're just a buzzsaw. So the 4-0 loss there was, I don't read too much into it. MLS
Yeah.
teams just shouldn't be able to beat that team. They just shouldn't
Right.
be able to, so not reading anything into that. On the other side of this, Salt Lake have been really fun too. So no foul. Let's go. Hatlingen says no
Oh,
foul.
nice.
We're still alive.
Yeah, that's great. No, well, yeah, we know how good San Diego are. Like they go without saying. I think David Vasquez has come in. Like it seems like he's earned a little starting role after playing well in the midweeks, ahead of Godoy. It feels like so. Yeah, one to keep an eye on, I guess. But yeah, outside of that, Salt Lake are in the like Kansas City. I don't want to say St. Louis. St. Louis are like at the bottom of this list, I'm going to say. But they're in that sort of sneaky zone where they've got serious talent, a lot of firepower, great keeper. They've, improved, I think, with Engel coming in. They've got Spearings has come in as well. Like, I think Salt Lake are really interesting. Once everything's up and running, Luna's back. They're going to have some headaches because I don't know who you keep out. Like, there's some big players going to be missing. Some, not big players, but influential players so far for them that don't deserve to be dropped. But if you're bringing in Spearings and Lunas, other people can't play. So, yeah, I really like Salt Lake. I don't know what their fixtures really look like. I think they're a bit all over the place, like homes aways, just like rotating. It's a bit of a nightmare, I think.
Yeah, Golovogui, however you say his name.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what I've seen with him so far. Herzakani, he's the guy who would be out for Luna, and like it's hard to take him out of the lineup.
I know.
You see here, Luna didn't start again. He is kind of getting ramped up, so I guess that does make sense. I think I had 60-40. It was a true toss-up.
Yeah,
Juan Sanabria is that left wing back. He's a good player. Gozo,
very good.
player. I don't know if it's a positive or negative, but DeAndre Yedlin is injured too. So like
Ooh,
Phil Clinton, Quentin is playing right center back. So
interesting.
I don't know. He's a guy that you'd probably want to have. They have a guy on loan, Juan Jose Arias. I don't know anything about him, but he's
Oh,
injured.
yeah.
Emeka Nelly is injured right now. He's a guy that'd be in the midfield. There's a lot of guys that this team's pretty deep,
I
and
know.
you don't really say that a lot about, MLS teams usually aren't very deep. That's just, you can't do it with the roster construction. And boy, RSL is just built through the academy, and they have these guys coming up, like Griffin Dillon coming up as well. And Luka Moisa, he had a couple starts. He's 17. Like,
He looks good. Yeah,
yeah, this team's exciting.
I know, man.
I'm excited to watch this game. So,
Yeah.
one thing out the door from you.
Go on.
I ask everybody. One hot take that you can think of. It could be like weak. It could be like Andy Black said that Philadelphia is going to be a playoff team. No offense, Andy. Maybe something better than that. But what hot take can you think of?
I mean, on the topic of like playoffs, I'm going to stick my neck out and say I really do think Toronto are going to go really close to winning something this year. Genuinely.
All right.
So whether that's an MLS Cup, I don't know. But I guess that's the only thing they could technically win. Maybe a Canadian Cup. But I don't know. I've got a weird feeling about Toronto, man. I don't know. I think when everything clicks, they're just, I think it's just going to be really tough to not only score against them, but to keep them out as well. I don't know. I don't know. They're not the best team, obviously, but I've just got a sneaky feeling they're just going to go on a massive run now, and I know that'll end up biting them because they're going to have loads of aways. But like, I think they're really going to like just make up for that in this next sort of 7 or 8 games where they are at home. I don't rate the manager or anything. I just think the players, like, they've got some, like, if they can gel now over the next few months. I've got a really sneaky feeling that Toronto are going to give a really, really good account of themselves by the end of the season, and over-exceed expectations, put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, I like that call. You look at this Eastern Conference, and coming into the year, I'm like, oh man, a lot of these teams got better. I thought, no. Look, I mean, if you really think about it, Philadelphia. Okay, right now Columbus is horrible, right?
Yeah.
Orlando, Montreal, New England, Atlanta,
horrible.
Cincy. Defensively have not been
Not
there.
great.
Red Bulls, DC
horrible.
even. You would think Toronto's better than all those teams.
For sure.
I mean, you look at the top, Nashville, New York City FC, Miami, obviously. Charlotte's in the mix. Chicago, why not Toronto?
I
They
know.
could kind of put a pretty serious separation. I think Cincinnati's going to be in the mix. I'm not going to
Yeah,
roll them
naturally.
completely out. But
No, no.
like maybe Atlanta's a little bit better. But these teams at the
Maybe.
bottom, man, like
Yeah, I can't see any of that changing really. They're all. I
right.
just think that's going to be their cluster. But you're right. Yeah, I think I would not be shocked if Toronto finished like sandwiched in between. Let's just call it. I don't know, a Nashville or a New York City or an Inter Miami, and I think they'll end up getting honestly like second or third there. I
Wow.
really do.
Love it.
I think, and I think that's kind of I think that's bold enough. I don't think it's like
That's
ultra
that's
bold.
bold.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's pretty bold.
that's bold.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
On the Western side, just kind of looking at this table at some of the teams at the bottom, but like if you look at that playoff picture right now, Houston in ninth, they're a buzzsaw. Like Dallas, they've looked really good. Colorado, he's talked about looking good. Real
Yeah.
Salt Lake, Seattle, San Diego, San Jose playing well.
Strong. Way
Vancouver,
stronger,
LAFC. It's like,
isn't it? It's way
oh
stronger, right?
man, yeah. You look at like a team. Yeah, we just talked about Portland. I mean, they're not anywhere near any of these teams,
No.
really. Just Minnesota, like we said, they're going to have a tough out. That's for
Like,
sure.
would you be shocked if Galaxy didn't make that top nine? If we're being completely honest,
Not at
like it
all.
wouldn't be out of the realm, would it? Not to say like they
No.
were good last year, but obviously they were the year before. Like Austin have a good chance of maybe creeping in somehow.
Yeah.
I'm weirdly high on St. Louis. Like, but I don't know who drops out. Like,
No.
who of that
Yeah.
nine really falls? I honestly, I know it's really early in the season, but
Yeah.
like you said, Houston look amazing and Colorado sneaky, Dallas sneaky, Salt Lake sneaky. The rest are just really
Yeah.
good teams. Okay, San Jose maybe regress a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah.
You know, they might be towards the seven, eight, nines, and then battling with whoever else. Yeah, there's maybe one spot there for like a Galaxy, Austin, Minnesota, St. Louis to like creep into, but I can't see that top nine really changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
To
All
be
right.
honest.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Toronto call. I think that's, I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. Just, I know the Sargent signing is like a big splash. It's almost like he does a lot of things where like he'll just run at the team or like give you something to think of. Corbanu is still injured too. When
Yeah,
he comes
yeah,
back, he's another piece that they have. Walker Zimmerman, that other center back, I didn't know anything about him coming in, Kusevich or
yeah.
whatever. He's
He's
playing
looked
well.
okay.
He's
Yeah, he's
looked
looked good.
okay,
He
you
looks like
know?
a proper defender, which you do need
Right.
sometimes in
Yeah.
MLS. He's no nonsense. He just
Yeah.
clears things. He won't score that well, I don't think, on
Yeah.
fantasy for the most part. Zimmerman will end up doing that. But yeah,
Yep.
he is definitely what you need as a centre back.
And then their new signing, Mathis Pereira, hasn't
Hasn't
featured
even featured.
because he's dealing with a groin injury, but he should be closer. Edwards is playing half decent.
Edwards has looked
Um,
a revelation compared to his Red Bull
yeah,
days. I gotta be honest. Like,
which is weird. Like
yeah,
yeah, I don't even think Pereira's going to get that spot unless
no,
in a
neither
few
do
weeks.
I.
But like I don't know. Interesting.
They're
Yeah.
deep.
Thanks for coming
They're pretty
on. I
deep.
think MLS is exciting just because all the parity, and yeah, we got some stinkers in the East, but the West. I mean, there's a lot to get
Cooking.
excited about. That's for sure.
No, it is. No, I'm buzzing. Yeah, and thank you for having me on. And yeah, no, it's another exciting MLS season. There's only 5 games, 4 or 5 games in, and Salt Lake have just scored against San Diego, Deke. I've just had the
Makes
the
sense.
notification.
Yeah, yeah. So who
Wow,
do we know who it was?
it's that Sergi Sonala,
Oh
Sonalas.
man, Salons. They
Yeah,
drafted him. Like he just
did
came out of
they?
the super draft. Like
Oh
it's
my God.
that's
I
great.
mean,
Phenomenal.
I'm on so I don't know whether we're behind on SofaScore, but somehow Sora
Probably.
have the goal. So
Yeah.
maybe it's
I
that.
think this isn't like road. It
Oh,
just
there
feels
we
like
go.
it's
Yeah,
yeah. Um yeah, before we're out the door, if you don't know Harry, if you're kind of just on the MLS group, basically, if you want to plug your YouTube, everything that you do, because Harry does a ton and you got to get him everywhere.
yeah, if you're into, I mean, fantasy football, but mainly obviously so rare, then yeah, it's just Harry Trades on YouTube and Harry Trades YT on X. They're the only two platforms really I do stuff on. But yeah, busy. Yeah, just grinding so rare stuff. To be honest, and then
Yeah.
Deke does a little bit more outside of just so rare, which is great to see. But I appreciate the chance for the plug, and it's been a pleasure, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so international break. I don't know if I'll do one next Sunday, so maybe there's something to talk about. But if not, we'll pick back up whenever play starts. And thanks everyone for joining the chat, and we'll see you next time. Peace.